It's your boy, Flavor Flav, and this is Criss Angel's Talking Junkies.
This is absolutely amazing that I had the honor of finding out just before my show began. I walked into what is called the Black Room, the room we're in right now, and I meet the GOAT, like one of the greatest boxers of all time. His reputation precedes him. Besides being an insanely talented artist in the art of boxing, he is just a wonderful human being. I don't know how to address you properly. Mr. Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, how do you like to be addressed?
My birthday seems like it comes every month, so just call me Ray.
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 All right. Well, thank you so much for coming here. I had a call. I was backstage, and I was like, call Frank right now and, like, see if we can get him here because, you know, this is his life is combat sports, you know, and boxing is such an integral part of it, you know, and the fact that Frank just ran over here, he's probably going to sleep, or it just speaks volumes of who you are and your legacy. I mean, I remember watching you as a kid. I went to the Nassau Coliseum in Hempstead, Long Island, Uniondale actually, and watched you fight. It was like a trilogy. It was the Durand. It was a big rivalry, right? And it got no mas, you know. So you lost the first fight, then you fought him. A second fight, you beat him. Then he wanted to fight again. The third fight, you won. And you know, boxing back then was so it was different than it is today in the way of the public's perception. I mean, now we have YouTube stars like Jake Paul, who actually is a good boxer, right? Considering the amount of time he spent doing it. But what's your takeaway from, you know, you've done this for so long, and now you kind of have a chance to step back and look at what's going on in the boxing world. What's your take on YouTube stars and the boxing game just as a whole?
You know, that's fine with me, to be honest with you. It may be a shock to most people, but you know what? It helps boxing. I think it helps. I think there's more zeros on that check now.
But you did pretty well, $100 million, right, of all your prize fights?
But look at Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather now, and these other guys. I mean, it's all relative, to be honest with you, because back when Muhammad Ali was fighting, who was the greatest of all time, no question about that. I think Ali made like $5 million. And $5 million was like $50 million. You know, 100. I mean, really.
But still, people got rich off of fighters, and they weren't getting paid.
Well, I thank God. I've been a blessed man in so many ways. Jenks Morton, who my dear friend, my supporter, my business partner, he was the one that turned me on to Mike Trainer, who was my attorney and my friend, who orchestrated, whereas that I would be my own independent contractor. I'll be my own man, my own promoter. I didn't, because of the exposure I received from the Olympics back in, 1976 in Montreal, I was able to do that because, God, I remember it's like yesterday. Like it was like 24 people loaned me $1,000 so I didn't have, because, you know, I could train and not worry about
paying the bills,
or going getting a job when I worked out so hard, and I paid them off in the very first fight. Did things on my own.
That's beautiful. Do you still train to this day?
I do. I still train. Yeah, I'm a little vain too, you know. And my wife, she looks at me sometimes. She said, "You know what? You need to eat more," because she said,
"You got thin."
Yeah, I look thin. Do I look?
Well, yeah, I think you look. You look for you. You told me I think he looks great. No, you can tell he's still athletic.
My weight fluctuates. I can go, which I don't want to go. If I hit like 162, that's a bit much, or I can go to 180.
You've been 180.
Oh yeah.
How tall are you?
I want to be 6 feet, but I'm 5'9".
Right on.
Yeah. People ask me, say, first of all, how old are you? And I said, I'm 67.
God bless you.
Yeah. But I work out though. You know, I work out at least 3 times a week. We've incorporated martial arts now
Really?
Yeah.
You should train with Frank. You use my gym.
Frank's too small for me.
Talk about learning footwork and stuff.
Yeah, footwork, right?
That's my thing was footwork too.
I know, yeah. That's why we want to learn from the GOAT.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, I love the way I feel. Stimulation of the mind and the body, and I just like working out. I would never stop working out. When I stop working out, because that means I'm retired,
Right.
I can't foresee that taking place.
Frank, I'm sure you have, like me, my mind is racing. I have lots of questions, but
No, it's actually extremely trippy for me, just because not only, obviously, Sugar Ray's a legend, but my father actually used certain aspects of his career to teach me life lessons. You sit there and your father's teaching you like how to be a man, how to do different things. And there's two stories right off the bat that my dad told me that was involved Sugar Ray. And it was when he fought Hearns, was one of them, where he came out and Sugar Ray has phenomenal footwork, a great jab. Angelo Dundee, Muhammad Ali. So here's a faster, slick version of him. And in that fight, Hearns was beating him in the first couple rounds. Well, it was actually crazy because Sugar Ray then made an adjustment to turn into the stalker, turn into a slugger. He started marching and coming forward and be the aggressor. And he goes, hey, look, this is what he was great at, but it wasn't working on that day. So he had to make an adjustment in the ring, not go home, replan. There was no halftime. There was no 15-minute break to figure it out. On the fly, he made an adjustment. And then I think going into the 13th round, my father said that he was down. And Angelo Dundee's looking at him. He goes, hey, man, you're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it. You're just done. And so he came out there and just went, balls to the wall, and was able to knock him down to the point the referee came in and stopped the fight. I think he knocked him out 3 times.
back then it was 15 rounds.
Yeah.
Right? Which is crazy.
A big story. I mean, a big change. Going 15 rounds. They brought it down to 12 rounds for the safety of the boxer, rightfully so.
Yeah, they were showing there was a lot of brain damage that was occurring. A lot of the concussions were, dangerous after round 12, and even deaths, you know what I mean? So they're like, oh, let's bring it down. Everybody's 13, 14, and 15 are the dangerous ones. Let's go ahead,
Right.
Yeah, but Tommy and I were friends. I mean, and Tom, he called me just the other day and said, Ray, unless you and I do an exhibition. I said, are you saying that you want to, hit me and I hit you back? He said, no, come on, Ray, let's go. I said, Tommy, no. I said, I'm not up for that. Yeah.
How old is he?
Tommy, I'm 67. Tommy must be 64, maybe. Roberto Duran. I used to hate that son of a bitch.
Actually, that's the other story my father told me. I think it was the second fight you guys had was the No Mas.
Well, yeah, second fight was No Mas. Yeah.
So my father talks about how to beat a man or how to be destroyed completely. He goes, you can knock somebody out and they can say you caught him with a lucky shot, you know what I mean? And even, in my world with submissions and stuff now with tapping, it's kind of close because you're kind of crying uncle, but they're still, they got caught, you kind of beat them. Lose a decision, you had a bad day, you still, He goes, but to get a man to actually look at his trainer and say, I don't want to fight anymore, I'm done. That's the most complete domination of a human being. You know what I mean? As another man to sit there and go, it's not my day, dude, I'm done. You know what I mean? In fact, actually, that my father, he's Cuban, so the Hispanic culture is a fan of, Duran, the Hands of Stone, right? He goes, that actually killed his career in a lot of ways because it took away the stigma. Here's a guy who's just known to be super, super tough and brutal. And, my dad said they show highlight reels of the guy punching trees and stuff, and then all of a sudden here he's in a fight where he goes, oh, my stomach hurts, I'm going to go home. I don't want to be here no more. Because he was getting beaten so badly, he just, I call uncle. And that's what they call the no more, no mas, no mas.
What was that?
But on all due respect, I mean, did I hear him say no mas? No, but he did this. What is this? And what does this mean?
Yeah, no more.
No more. Yeah. And I beat Duran more so psychologically because I was sticking my chin out. I was winding up and pow, hit with the other hand. And people were laughing, and when the people laugh, because Duran was like Mike Tyson. I mean, really just strong.
That was his name, right? Hands of Stone. Right?
Manos de Piedras. That was one of my toughest fights. I know the first time I fought Duran, and I just figured he was a little guy coming up to my weight division, and I was gonna.
You weren't prepared.
Prepare, yeah.
Right.
But you know what happened? He beat me mentally too. He said, Marico, it might have gone to whatever. Yeah, he said that. And then he gave me the finger. But the worst thing was when he gave my wife the finger.
Yeah.
And I was so he got into my head. So I'm mad.
You're acting out of emotion.
Out of emotion. Out of emotion.
You can never do that, right?
Because I was on box Duran. And I got in there, and then I tried to knock him out. And I was missing punches, and he came back. I mean, Duran was just he was a better counterpuncher, boxer, than he was an outright slugger. But he did. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. He gained my respect and gained respect of the boxing world.
And because that's a common theme. When a guy moves up in weight, you're not thinking he's gonna bring his power with him.
Exactly.
You think, okay, now here you are, a speed boxer, like you're known for being fast. You're like, all right, you're a little guy, you're gonna come up, you ain't gonna be faster than me, and you sure the hell aren't gonna be able to hit hard. This is a horrible matchup for you.
I had the pleasure of actually meeting him at my show. He had a translator with him, and he was actually talked very nicely about you, because I asked him, because I remember watching that fight. But he sent me his shorts signed, and I still have them to this day. And he loves magic. It was really fascinating for me, because I was just a kid among 15,000 people watching a big screen.
Right. Yes.
Because that's all we could do. I couldn't afford anything. I came from humble beginnings.
Yeah.
But you just had such a finesse, and you had a confidence. That people probably misinterpreted as being cocky. But people say that about me. They're like, oh, you're this and you're that. But you know what? I put the time in. You know what I mean? Like, I put the effort in to have the confidence of having the show that I have. And magicians, a lot of magicians hate me because they mistake confidence for cockiness, being arrogant. I'm not. I work really hard to be able to do what I do at the level that I can do it. And obviously Frank did the same thing to win, two-time UFC heavyweight champion. And you've done, and I have all these 10 world titles, 36-3, 25 by KOs, 3 national Golden Glove titles, and it goes on.
Olympic gold medalist.
Olympic gold medal.
Olympic gold medalist.
That gold medal, to me, is priceless. Right. I mean, even people can say I was world champion one time, but very few can say they were in the Olympics and they won the gold medal
for America.
I mean, it's
crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a window of opportunity. You could be a champion, and the promoters can match you up against the right people. You can actually help someone become a champion. You know what I mean, on the professional level. But on the amateur level, becoming an Olympic gold medalist, it's once every 4 years. You have a window that you have to win certain tournaments to get through, and you have that opportunity to fight. You make one mistake, no one can get you a rematch. The fight's over with. That's it. You know what I mean? And then what do? Wait another 4 years? Now you're 22, you're gonna be 26. You're gonna turn pros, and that's it. That's the only opportunity they have that a lot of guys.
Guys, I mean, for me to be a boxer, my personality and who I was, I mean, you would have never thought that I would be involved with a fully contact sport.
A pugilist.
Yeah, pugilistic. I mean, but for some reason, I mean, my big brother Roger used to beat me up just because I was there. He used to punch me out. In fact, he got me involved with boxing. But the thing about boxing, the first time I boxed, I was like 8, 9 years old, and this kid hit me in the nose. I said, well, that's it. So I retired. So I had a history of being retired. I came back when I was like, I don't know, 13, 14, put the gloves on, those same gloves, and it was like I found boxing, boxing found me, we found each other. And I trained harder, I ran further, because normally guys run like two miles, maybe 3 miles at the most. I did 5 miles. I did I did everything.
You were obsessed.
Obsessed.
You were obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And how does it feel? Because this is kind of a metaphor for life, right? When you lose, you lost only out of 36 fights, 3 fights, which is insane.
Yeah.
How does it? What's the takeaway? Like, when you lose a fight, like, a lot of people would just give up, but does it motivate you? Does it fuel you? What's the process like when you first lost?
Well, my first professional loss was to Roberto Duran. And that hurt me so bad. I mean, psychologically and mentally, it hurt me so bad. Because I should have won that fight if I had boxed him. I mean, I'm taller, I'm longer, I'm faster and all this. But he got into
He got you out of your game.
Huh?
He took you out of your game.
He took me out of my game. And he won the fight. I mean, he hit so hard. I was like, who else is in this damn ring? But so my wife fainted because when he hit me a number of times. The guy got home and we went on vacation to Hawaii. And first time we got there, I'm running on the beach, man. People say, "Hey, that's Sugar Ray." I said, "You could have won that fight if you had boxed him." People tell me that.
It must be so annoying.
Come on, God.
Like, dude, I've been doing this my whole life. You're gonna tell me how to box now?
But I didn't say that. I just did. I just shook my head, acknowledge. And in fact, they were so correct. And then I called my attorney, my partner. I said, "Mike, I want to fight Duran." He said,
How long? Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how long? So you just had the fight. You go to Hawaii like a few days later, right? So you're like on the beach. You're probably in a depression. Then you come out of it, and you're like, I got to do this for myself. How long?
I think it was like less than 6 months, which is unprecedented.
Right.
I mean, fights, rematches, they can take years.
Yeah.
I mean, or never happen. But naturally, he would make more money and he would get more exposure, and I thought about retiring it once again, but that intense, what do you call it? It's intense. My heart, I wanted to win. I know I can win. And we announced the fight in 6 months.
Did you change your training?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had sparring partners who were, short guys, but big guys with big punches and everything. And I kept moving, and it worked. And that was when the no mas thing came into play, because I was using my hand speed and using my footwork to kind of upset him. But the main thing, people don't know this, Duran, it's like a bully. And I call him a bully at that time.
You tie you up a lot?
He couldn't, because I wouldn't be there. Right. I wouldn't be there. I would do the wind up, punch him with the left hand.
You probably pissed him off.
People embarrassed him.
Yeah.
Embarrassed him. Yeah. If a bully that punched you out all the time, and one day you hit him back, things gonna change.
And that's most men. Most men are more afraid of embarrassment than they are of death, even or injury. Because I tell it to people, like, so many people won't fight. Yeah. If you really break it down, fighting's not that dangerous. You had a referee comes in there and stops. The chances of dying. I mean, people driving into the arena have more of a chance of dying and getting hurt than a fighter in the ring. Right. Yeah. But most men will never do that, because the idea of being embarrassed and losing is so terrifying to them. Embarrassment's that crushing.
Yeah. But again, guys, I'm so redundant on this. I feel so blessed, man, being in the ring for so long. I mean, 50 years. I mean, and fighting some of the toughest guys, if not the toughest guys in the boxing world, and to come out somewhat unscathed. And that's why I always try to give back. We come from extremely humble beginnings. I remember buying my mother and father their first new house.
That's awesome.
I bought all my siblings a new car. Is it Pinto? Was that little
Pinto? Yeah.
Yeah, Pinto.
It was a Pinto.
I bought the Pinto.
Yeah,
that was the one that got famous for the accident, I think.
Yeah. The gas guy, right? You were trying to knock off.
Did you like them?
No, but they did. They traded them in.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I gave you a new car, a car that's paid for. You don't have to make any payments. They say, because that car was, having problems at one time. But I try to help people. In fact, we started a foundation years ago that we raise awareness and raise funds for diabetes.
Oh.
you know, because my father was diabetic. A few of my friends, either they or their kids or wife or husband was diabetic, and I did that because you know what? It's an incredible thing to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you give, you get more. That
get
feeling
more,
that
yeah.
you get is priceless.
That's
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so priceless, Chris.
What made you come to my show?
Hey, man, I heard, first of all, I know you.
Right.
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of
but
course.
I've seen you and my man Baxter, who taught. I was gonna say you taught me how to fight, but you didn't. No, but
Elbows and kicks, I'm sure you know what I'm about.
yeah. But no, Baxter's my man. Baxter's one of my best friends, and we played tennis together and checkers, and I beat him all the time.
Yeah. And he's like, let's go see the show?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you guys bought tickets. I felt so horrible.
no,
And I walk in my room. I don't even know. Like, it's crazy. But did you enjoy it?
absolutely, man. I'm sorry, absolutely, but
No.
you know, I wish I can know how to do some of those things.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's like the craziest, like, have you ever gotten into a street fight?
One, well, I'll say about a handful. I remember playing. I living in Washington D.C. because I'm from North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, and I left there, went to Washington D.C. when I was 3 years old. So around 5, 6, 7, I'm walking down the street, and these guys was pushing, just hit me for no apparent reason. And I remember, I mean, was I scared? Yeah, I was nervous. I mean, I wasn't a fighter. But I just knew that one day something, because I'm a God-fearing man.
Likewise.
I pray, even as an amateur, I pray before the fight. I never pray to win. I pray before the fight that no one would get hurt.
Right.
You know, I never prayed to win. Just
Right.
like, God,
You
please
just
help.
didn't want anybody to get hurt.
Just no one get
Yeah,
hurt.
man.
And even as a professional fighter, I still did the same thing. I always say a prayer and say, God, please let us all walk away from this.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like such an honor to be around such greatness. Like, you know, I have the pleasure of knowing Mike Tyson, and I've known Mike for many years, and I consider him a friend. You know, I've hung out with him countless times, and he's been to my house, and I've done his podcast, and he's a wonderful guy, you know, and he's doing this podcast as well, and but to have you here is just incredible because you know, Mike for a heavyweight, you know, you for a welterweight, you guys are the GOAT. Like, you know, I just think you have so much wisdom. I'm surprised you don't train people like you.
I can't. You know what? I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
I don't have. I hate to say it, but I don't have the patience if you don't give me 100%.
Gotcha.
When I train, it's 100%. I'm focused. I call it tunnel vision. It's like when I'm fighting, it's tunnel vision, and I never give up. You get knocked down, get back up. That's the sign of a champion. That's the sign of a winner. That's the sign of a warrior. And again, when I fought these incredible, amazing champions, Hearns, Hagler, Duran, people always say, you can't win, you can't win. That pumps me up. That makes me even a better.
Fuels you.
There you go, fuel. That's what I wanted to say. It fuels. I just get pumped up. Because when I came back with the Hagler thing, and God bless his soul, because he died, he left us too soon. But even my family, rightfully so, because at that time I was out in the streets, man, drinking and drugs and everything, because I wasn't happy, because I'm in my 20s, and I suffered a partial detached retina, so I couldn't. I mean, could I box? Well, my ophthalmologist said, Ray, if you want to return, you can, because your left eye is stronger than your right eye now. So he gave me the okay, but I didn't want to upset my wife or my kids or my family members. I mean, people cared. They said, I don't want you to get out there and purchase it.
It sounds like Sylvester Stallone borrowed your story to put it in the Rocky movie because it was about his retina being detached. If you remember, I forgot which Rocky that was, but he talks about that, and his wife is like, the doctor said, and so it's and by the way, we're talking about what year?
Oh my gosh, help me out, somebody. When did I retire? Because I retired a lot of times.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Because when you came back at the thing, you almost had a 10-year layoff, I think. It was a long layoff towards the end.
No, actually, it was a five year, because I remember that because that's when.
What kept on bringing you back? Was it is it like like for me, I've been incredibly blessed. I could retire. My kids they're good, but I find myself on this stage, and it's a job. Like I love creating, but doing the show.
I can imagine.
It's physical,
yeah, right? It's,
and my back hurts me. I have 3 herniated discs. I have tears on my shoulder, and I'm hanging upside down, and I'm doing all these crazy things. But what brings you back?
It was, thank God, it wasn't the money. It was more so. I mean, I'm 25. I'm like almost in the prime of my career, and I wanted to compete against the marvelous Marvin Hagler, the Tommy Hearns again, and
What was the name? Was it?
yeah,
The Four Kings.
the Four Kings. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
You guys helped me out so much. But no, the Four Kings. We went up against each other in our in our prime. But I wasn't finished. I wanted to fight the Haglers. I wanted to fight the other guys. And I was only happy in the ring. I wasn't.
Isn't that crazy? Like, because people, especially with social media today, people want to live this fantasy life. They create a fantasy life on social media, right? Instagram, X, which was formerly known as Twitter. They want to live this fantasy life, and your reality was a fantasy life, but all the money, all the materialistic things didn't make you happy.
Not at all. Not at all.
And I say that on stage. I say, you never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul.
Yeah.
It's about the memories. It's about the experiences. Materialistic. When I made money, I bought like 1 million cars, and I drove them once. Doesn't make you happy.
I swear to God, I did the same thing. I bought a car, and I drive about a month.
Right.
Take it back somewhere, whatever, sell it. What was happening, because things change all of a sudden now. I'm not too sure about my friends,
Yeah. And you've gotten all this success. You've won the title, and it's like, I think, here's my perspective. When you see people that have dreams, they spend their life trying to live that dream. But when you live the dream, even beyond the dream, you feel like, I've experienced this. This is not fulfilling. I need more. I need.
It's, yeah.
Right. It becomes something that you can't fill this void. People think like, oh, if I just make $1 million, I could do everything. You make $1 million. Okay, now I want $2 million. It's that human nature. It's how they built Las Vegas. Like, did you feel not happy because, was it inside you, or was it like your personal life, or was it like, I need to do more, this guy's coming up, I need to show him?
It's all of those things, all of those factors, but I tell you, I was in such pain. And the thing about it, the worst thing about it, is the fact that I didn't talk about things. I didn't vent. I didn't let it out. Something bothered me. I just keep it inside.
Yeah, you internalize it.
I internalize it. And I tell you what, that is the worst thing. And I remember there's so many things that come to mind. But I'm in the process now of doing a documentary myself.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Do you have it sold, or you
No, we're just in the process now.
put it together
It's in
and
the prelim-
own it?
Yeah. Oh, trust me, trust me, trust me. But I'm in the preliminary stages, and
Oh, this is
you know,
great.
Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, dear
He's a
friend.
great
He's
promoter, right?
He's a good guy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, but life is what you make it. Help others, especially kids. You know, I would do anything for kids,
Awesome.
and I've always been that way. You know. But again, life is what you make it, man. And I mean, talking to you guys, man, it's pretty cool.
It's such an honor. You have. I know we don't want to take up too much of his time.
No, I agree with you though about talking about reaching mountains. I remember the first time when I won the title. The first time, Jennifer could tell you, I sat in the hotel room, you know, and
Your wife.
Yeah, everybody goes to bed, and I was sitting on the couch, and I had my feet out, and I had the belt on my lap, and I'm like looking out, and it was like 1 a.m. by the time everybody was done with everything. And she came back. It was like 7 a.m. She woke up. She walked out. She goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just sitting here." And it was a very depressing moment because I thought something would change. I thought that, like, you know, you get to the top of the mountain, like, I'm going to have some epiphany, some enlightenment. And I was sitting there going, I still need to work on this. I still need to train there. I'm like,
And now
no.
it becomes harder.
Yeah, now it's like,
Right.
okay.
The journey. I said this before on this Talking Junkies podcast. The journey is far greater than the destination. Bill Aucoin, Kiss's manager, told me that. He said, I was struggling. I was sitting by a garbage pail, and he's like, "What's the matter?" I was like, I put all my eggs in one basket. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. He said, "Criss, you're going to make it. And remember this, the journey is far greater than the destination." I didn't know what that meant. And he passed on. And, you know, it took me 18 years to become an overnight success. True story. And it's so much more difficult now to remain relevant, the number one guy out there.
That's harder in all
to get
things.
there because, you know, everybody.
Well, everybody's
I have
gunning
an
for
X
you.
on my head. You know, like I'm the target on my head. And that was true with you. Like, you win, you know, all these huge, prestigious medals and events. And then, like, everybody's looking at you. They're studying your tape, right?
Yeah, that's why I talk about that. Like, I always say that that's exactly what it is. You're not studying the up-and-coming magicians that are coming up, right? Yeah. When you're the champ, you're not really studying number 2 through 10. You're not watching their film, but you have everybody else in the world who's trying to take your spot studying you, watching what you do, what your tendencies are. So now all of a sudden you have the next best people in the world. That's why I say staying at the top of the mountain is way harder than getting there.
That's big. That's big.
And the fact that you've done it for so long and have such an impeccable 36-3, like, think about that. Like, that is amazing.
Yeah,
and I think your 2 losses though came towards the end too, though, right? That wasn't in your prime. The prime was only the Robert Duran.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, the first loss, Duran. I mean, that I was so, I don't know, I was so lost, so hurt, and it wasn't until I actually got out of the ring, went to the dressing room, the locker room. I cried like a baby, man. I just let it go. Just let it go.
Was it more because you gave it away and you were angry about that more than he actually beat you? Because really, I mean, obviously, because the other 2 fights prove that you were the better boxer. So basically, he beat you because he got you out of your game. So and you realize that walking out. Was that the hardest part or the loss?
Yeah, but to admit that.
Yeah.
To admit that. I mean, very few fighters, from my perspective,
Want to be vulnerable.
Yeah. I mean, come on. It's just. But I said I beat myself, but then again he gets credit because he took control over that.
I mean, he was good enough that if you, obviously he's a great fighter, that if you were off a little bit, he could win. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you can be off and have a bad day, and they're not going to beat you.
What would be, if you had to say there's one attribute that you had that if you were to teach a boxer, an up-and-coming boxer, one thing that Sugar Ray Leonard did that you feel is like your signature, what would it be? Because that's what I want to learn.
It's it's composure. It's determination. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. It's all these things, all these factors, and we all have it. We just can't. Everyone can't activate it. You know, it's like when I was fighting Tommy Hearn, and you're losing. He said, you're losing it, sir.
In the corner.
In the corner.
Yeah, you're blowing it, kid, right?
You're blowing. Look, I was there. Hello. I get this checked out. But you're blowing it, son. He had the perfect soundbite. He said the right thing at the right time. Because majority of trainers, and it's not a knock on them, but it's just the way it happens. That when their fighter is losing, they
panic too.
Yeah.
You see it every day.
Yeah, they panic.
You
Yeah.
see trainers that freak out, panic, and they don't become an asset to their fighter. They actually become a detriment. They're not helping out. I'm like, man, that's what you just said to him did nothing but hurt him.
Yeah, but if I see myself as a trainer, I would, because you care. I mean, you care about the fight.
Well, you have a big emotional investment.
But what would be the physicality, like the physicality of your attribute? Like, what would it be like? Would it be, your jab, your cross, your hook, your footwork? What would you say if somebody wanted to learn something physical from you? What would it be?
Well, you can't teach speed. You're born with speed.
Right.
I mean, you could teach accuracy. You could show them how the best way to execute a punch. Timing. But the speed factor is a gift. It's a gift from God. But again, I'm very serious about training hard, consistently, not giving in, and always believe in yourself.
Yeah, it's actually speaking to you. I realize how much you really honestly are mental. Fighting you is completely in your head,
It's
between your
totally
ears.
mental. It is so mental. Because again, I mean, I was out, I had a 5-year hiatus when I came back for Hagler. People thought I was crazy.
Yeah, that's
my
a
brothers,
long
my
layoff.
family.
Yeah.
That's
a huge
long,
in boxing.
It's a long time to lay off. And you find somebody like Marvin Hagler, who's ambidextrous, powerful, just always
Elusive.
always in shape. Always, he had everything. But I saw something in him, and I said, I can do it. Because when Roberto Duran fought Hagler, I was doing commentary for HBO.
I remember.
And after the fight, Roberto Duran came over to my table. He said, Ray, you fight him. He said, you box him, you beat him. He said that to me.
Wow.
In the ring, when he's in the ring. I mean, instead of saying, hey, man, what did you think about my fight? But he said those words. And I called my guy, I called my partner. I said, I want to fight Hagler. He said, Ray, first, you been drinking? No. Yeah. I called my brother. I said, I'm gonna fight. I said, I want to fight Marvin Hagler. He said, Dale, my brother, Dale. He said, what did you say? I said, I'm gonna fight Hagler. He said, what's your tune-up? I said, Hagler. I said, I don't need a tune-up because I'll be afraid of it. I'll be afraid,
Right.
Basically, you came off of a 5-year hiatus, ring rust, whether you could, you shoved the retina injury, and you decided to go ahead and fight the #1 guy in the world at that time.
I know, yep. But that's what makes me tick. Because I was with HBO doing commentary, and I saw him against John the Beast Mugabe, a slugger, typical struggle, who was kind of outboxing Hagler. And then I said, I can beat this guy. I can beat this guy.
While you doing commentary?
Yeah, I said that. I swear. I'll actually wrote it down
Really?
on a piece of paper for some reason. And then I called my partner, Mike Trainer. I said, Mike. He said, Ray, he said, what you think about the fight? I said, yeah, I want to fight Hagler. And there was a complete silence. He said, Ray, you been drinking? I said, well, not a lot.
Yes, but it doesn't matter.
Yes, but not a lot, yeah. But I do things because I feel I can win. I can
And Hagler stirred your fire in your belly.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it to do with the limelight at all? Do you like that limelight?
No, I want to beat the odds. I just want to beat the odds. I mean, especially with these incredible friends now, Tommy Hagler, Roberto Duran. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I just.
So you have a good relationship with all these guys.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
we call, in fact, Tommy may be watching this now. But, hey, Tommy. No, because we talk. We just talk, yeah.
And do you still love to go to fights?
Yeah.
Or you watch him in person, or do you like you don't really? Do you have anybody that you really like that's fighting right now?
I mean, Spence, those guys. You know, they're all, it's so much talent out there.
Lomachenko.
Well, yeah. You know, I love and respect all these guys that's in that ring now. Or just trying to become.
Takes.
I know what it takes. Yeah, and I. Because people ask me all the time, so who's gonna win? I say, who trains harder to win? Who wants to win? Who displays he wants to win or she wants to win? I'm just that kind of guy, man. I won't tell you 100% what I feel, but you don't need to hear that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, say for example, if Muhammad Ali told me I couldn't beat Tommy Hearn, that would hurt me so bad, man.
Yeah.
You know? But also, you gotta be.
How did you? And I know we have to wrap this up because you got to go. But how do you feel about, like, you know, back in the day, the commentary? Like, did it play with you? Did it ever piss you off? Like, you know, you have somebody. I don't know. Was it Howard Cosell that did
Howard Cosell became good friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, you know, Howard would say whatever he wanted to say.
Yeah, but did he ever, like? Did you ever hear something and you were like, you know, like, because I know that Muhammad Ali at the time, you know, he would play with him, you know, like, and be like, "What are you talking about?" You know, like he would go off on him. Did it ever piss you off?
No, and it's composed. Listen. I'm going to make the thing happen. I'm going to win. I don't say, Ray. So what if you lose? I'm not going to lose.
Right.
You know,
because you believe in yourself.
Because I believe in myself. Yeah.
Right.
And that's been the case all these years.
You have incredible stories about other GOATs, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Angelo Dundee was one of the greatest trainers in boxing.
Can you give us a couple little stories real quick?
Well, when I first met Muhammad Ali, I was an amateur boxer, probably, 18, 19, just before the 76 Olympics. And I recall I had sat down at a table, and all of a sudden, who sits beside me? Muhammad Ali. And he looked at me, and I'm shaking like a leaf. I'm hyperventilating. He said, "Hey, I heard about you." He says, "Do you like sex?" I said, "Sometimes." I'm like, Look, Muhammad.
That's kind of an odd question to get from a guy probably about 100 pounds bigger than you do.
Oh my guys, it was. I mean,
depends on from who.
I couldn't respond. Nothing was coming out of my mouth. Muhammad, the greatest of all time, he inspired me so much, and he would say, you know, if you ever turn professional, make sure you sign your own checks. He gave me so much advice. I know one time I went to his house, and I mean it was heaven. It was so special. That man, he has done so much for me, not just in the ring, but outside the ring. He gave me life, hope, and he made me dream the dream. He allowed me to dream my dream. I mean, I'm almost in tears, man. So,
yeah,
you know,
He asked you about sex because they said at the time that if you had sex, it would weaken your knees.
It just weakens this.
Yeah. Does it really? You believe that?
It's a psychological thing. It's a psychological thing.
So you would abstain from having sex before a fight?
Months.
Months?
I do months. Yeah, because you gotta be mad with that guy.
No, I'm like, by the time I fight, it's probably been hours.
No, but real quick.
Hey, man, it helps you relax. All right?
I'm telling you.
Let me just, because people can't hear you on the mic. So Frank's wife Jennifer is saying it's not months, it's hours because it relaxes him. What I'm fascinated is what was the reasoning for you that you just said no sex for months?
No, he just said he likes sex, and he said, how long do you wait before a fight? I said, a month. Yeah, I just said a month.
Yeah.
That's how. As a fighter, I was like tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. I was like that, focused, totally disciplined.
Right.
And I'm so mad because I haven't had,
Yeah, that pissed me off too.
Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
And you want to talk about the trainer real quick, and then we can.
Well, yeah, Angelo Dundee, as far as because he trained Muhammad Ali and yourself, he's known as one of the most legendary trainers. But I was talking to you beforehand. You still think, even though I feel he gets lots of accolades, you don't feel he's actually even appreciated as good as he was? That he doesn't still get the respect he should?
I don't ever think he'll get the respect he deserves. To me, he was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, boxing trainer for me. Well,
Nice.
For me, for my style.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Awesome. So, another episode of Talking Junkies. We do this out of passion. We don't do this because we have to. We do this because we want to. Until next time, God bless you. Stay well and live that dream. Work for that dream. Believe in that dream because you can achieve it.
This is Criss Angel's Talking Junkies.